Thank you. The kingdom of light. At the end of the Colossians reading, we read these words. For he rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loves, in whom we have forgiveness, a redemption and forgiveness of sins. And he has qualified you to share in the inheritance of his holy people in the kingdom of light. Well, we all know that light is very important, isn't it? We enjoy light much more than we enjoy darkness. And I find, thank you, Andrew, that's illustrated that beautifully. Yeah. And do you know, I remember, as I said, I always say that, I remember as a boy, my dad was perhaps doing something a bit tricky on a tractor, and he said, hold the torch for me, can you? Hold the torch for me? So yeah, you know, a little old boy about 7, and I wasn't very high when I was 7. And I'd be there holding this torch, and then he said, well, keep a torch on the spot. Keep a torch. You know, I'd lose concentration, you see, because it's very important that light is focused on the area that you want it on. Obviously, nowadays, everybody uses a head torch, and then you going like this all the time, you know, to find out where the light is. But you need the light, really, on the subject. And we know that light is so important. And light is becoming more important as life goes on. And we see all the solar panels and everything that are happening. And we're saying that this is the future. The Green Energy Brigade are wanting us to do more work with solar and less with fossil fuels. And so light is extremely important in many aspects. Another aspect, and I've written it down here, but I can hardly say it, is photosynthesis. You see, it's important in the summer and the growing season, as it were, that the sunlight gets absorbed through the leaf of the plant. And a neighbor, I didn't like to do it, but I nearly picked a rose this morning, but I didn't. And because those roses, those beautiful blooms, are only there because the sunlight has come in through the leaf. We have all these beautiful flowers here. We had a marvelous display here this week of flowers, and tremendous. And those flowers are grown because the sunlight has been absorbed by the leaf, and that has produced the beautiful blooms. In the world of agriculture, in growing crops, whether it be potatoes or wheat or barley, farmers spend a lot of time making sure that when the crop is growing, and before you can see the ear or anything, they spend time and effort nowadays in modern science and technology, and not everyone agrees with it perhaps, but they spray their crops regularly to make sure that the leaf is clean of diseases called rhynchosporium and septoria and all stuff, words you've never heard of probably, because unless the sunlight can get through into the leaf and into the plant, then you won't get a good crop. Some potato farmers spray their crops every 2 or 3 days, especially in a wet season, because rain and splashing on the crops spreads the diseases and everything, and then you get all the blotches on the leaves, and you don't get a good crop then. You get a shriveled grain, which is not good quality. And, you know, they knew this hundreds of years ago when they they wrote the hymn, "We plough the fields and scatter," because we sing the warmth to swell the grain. And that's what it takes. And that's what it takes. So we need light. In Colossians, Paul wrote this letter in prison. Now, I don't expect the lighting was that good in prison, was it? You know, and the atmosphere, it wasn't that good, really, was it? And yet, he saw the importance of writing about light and what a difference it can make in people's lives. He wrote there somewhere, "In the same way," it says, in Colossians we read, "in the same way the gospel is bearing fruit and growing throughout the whole world, just as it has been doing among you since the day you heard it and truly understood God's grace." I read a bit about the Colossians reading, and Paul wrote this letter in prison. It was written in poor light, in dark and dingy, and a poor atmosphere. I don't expect he was well fed or enjoyed many home comforts. It was probably a stone bed. And he was writing it because he knew the importance of people staying connected and he was trying to deal with false teaching. You know, sometimes you remove the head coach from a team, then the team flounders. If you break the fuel line in a car or something, your car stops. Or nowadays, if there's a fuse gone or a chip gone down, then it all comes to a halt, doesn't it? And, if you unplug something or the fuse is gone in your lead, then nothing happens. You need to stay connected. And so we need to stay connected with the light that is there for every one of us. It's available. It's available. And we need to continue to follow it. The gospel talks of bearing fruit. We truly need to bear fruit. You know, it's always wonderful, isn't it, to see a basket of fruit. There's something special about fruit. When somebody's not well in hospital, then you take them some fruit. You take them fruit or some flowers, because the flowers, express something that you're feeling in your heart. You give your wife a bunch of red roses. I'm not too much in the habit of doing that, but I hope she's not watching. You do things to encourage people and to cheer them up. And these things, because of light, we are able to produce these things. Some people can light up a room. It's a gift, isn't it? Their atmosphere, their demeanor, and everything about them makes a difference to people's lives. They can cheer people up and encourage them. And I'm sure that as we go through life, we need to draw on the light that Jesus offers us so that we, in turn, can light them up with the truth of the gospel. We need to allow ourselves to have the light of Jesus in our lives so we can light up people's lives. We particularly celebrate, as we've said here today, Action for Children, and how that organization down through the years has shone a real light into the lives of children, into the lives of families, and had a lasting impression. And you know, sometimes the smallest deed of kindness can be a tremendous light in people's lives. So I hope and pray that every one of us here today will recognize the value of light, the light that Jesus brought into the world. He said, "I am the light of the world. I am the light of the world." And I trust and I pray that we may be able to shine a light into people's lives and touch them in a special way. Amen.